Calgary artist Sykamore joins us today here on Primetime Local News, talking about her new song, Go Easy on Me. Just to kick things off, what's the song all about?
Yeah, so it's called Go Easy on Me, and it's really honestly a breakup song, but it's like a decent tempo, so it's not that sad. And it's really just about the moment that you realize you're not the first person to move on from a relationship, and maybe you're not quite ready to move on, and you're basically just not ready to face reality. And the song kind of explores maybe that a little bit of that maybe ugly emotion that's just sort of like asking the other person to essentially lie to you and kind of be like, I know you've moved on, but don't like rub it in my face. Maybe just like pretend that it hasn't happened yet until I'm in a place where I'm strong enough to handle it.
In your mind, what do you hope people take away from it when they're listening to Go Easy on Me?
I hope people can, I guess, maybe draw on their own experience. I hope people can relate to the song. And I think that was partly, why I wanted to write something like that, because I'm always really intrigued by songs that sing kind of right to me, even if it's an emotion I haven't fully acknowledged that I've ever experienced. And so I guess what I really want it to do is ultimately just speak to people. And I hope that they can maybe apply their own lives to it and see a situation where maybe they were the person who wasn't ready to move on, or vice versa. And so, yeah, like whenever I write a song, I always just want people to be able to apply it to their own lives and see their own stories within it.
One fun fact about you is you were in the 2020 CMT Next Women of Country class. What does it mean to you to be named into that class?
It means a lot. There aren't a ton of opportunities, especially when you're a new artist, to be acknowledged by your industry. And so when we got the news that we got picked for Next Women, it was a big deal. Obviously, there's a lot of really prominent female country artists who have come out of that class. I know Casey Musgraves was in it, Maren Morris, Kelsey Ballerini. So it means a lot to be considered someone who might have the same level of potential. So it was awesome.
One thing I talk about with a lot of the artists that I speak with is how they've handled the pandemic, and when it comes to their music and how they handle it, writing songs over Zoom. So what's your COVID experience been like when it comes to your music, and what's been done during your COVID downtime?
There's been a ton of downtime. I did a bit of like Zoom writing, like you said. I think everyone got a little more comfortable with writing online than they ever have, just out of necessity. For me, I was actually coming out of just doing a ton of writing for the album that I just recorded. So I was actually kind of already going into a season of taking a break from writing. And so it kind of came at a good time for me, I guess, because I wasn't really doing a ton of heavy rotation for writing anyway. But the whole thing's been really kind of unique and came obviously with challenges, but I think ultimately it made everyone more versatile. We found different ways to market music and promote ourselves without having the benefit of in-person interaction. And I think even though it was inconvenient, I think it's really great that we all now have a wider skill set to use, and we've become a little more adaptable in terms of getting music out, because at the top of the pandemic, everyone was just waiting, like a lot of people held their album releases back because they wanted everything to get back to normal. But then eventually everyone just started saying, well, doesn't look like anything's changing anytime soon, so we may as well just roll with the punches and figure out a way to do it. And I think it's made everyone a lot more versatile. And so it's interesting to see, especially a year from, in a year's time, just how versatile everyone's become.
So with that being said, does that kind of signal a new album coming out potentially in the next year or so?
Yeah, I put out an EP last spring, and then I've put out now, 3 songs, I guess, just these last couple months. And they're all coming from a larger body of work that I hope to put out in 21. It might wait till 2022. It just really, there's some logistics I haven't worked out yet, but there's more where this stuff came from for sure.
One thing that, we always find when talking to Canadian country artists, like Lindsay L., Brett Kissel, and Aaron Goodvin, who we've had on the show, is that, they all live in Nashville. And now you, of course, live in Nashville yourself there. So how often are you running into them, on a music front there? And how often are you collaborating with them?
They're everywhere in Nashville. I think we're like slowly taking over essentially. I see them at you'll see them at writers rounds or just different industry events. There's a lot of Canadian artists who might be signed to Canadian labels, but they might have an American publishing deal. And so they're down there, writing a ton or even living down there and networking with publishers and whatnot. And so, I'll see them at social events, and even, you know, there's Canadian girls that are getting into Next Women of Country every year. There's myself and Madison Kozak, who's another Canadian last year. And I know Mackenzie Porter got in this year for 2021. And so, yeah, I mean, we tend to move in a lot of the same circles. So you see them a lot.
The new song Go Easy on Me is out now to buy or stream on all major music platforms. Sykamore, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Take care.